Welcome back, everyone, to the Bourbon Judge. Hope everyone's enjoying the summer. For me, I'm enjoying it, but this heat is still getting to me. So today we went ahead and changed up a little bit. We did with a beautiful nighttime setting, right? As opposed to the daytime. We always do a lot of the videos in daytime, but let's do the nighttime for once, right? Kind of change it up. So today we're going to go ahead and review Widow Jane Bourbon. Take a look at the front of the bottle and the back. All right. So funny story behind this one. My good friend Brian from Philly. Brian said, "Hey, Bourbon Judge, I heard a lot about this Widow Jane. Is this one that I should buy, or as you say, should I leave it on the shelf?" I said, "Well, Brian, you gotta wait until you see the video, all right?" So, true story. Good one from Brian, all right? So we'll see whether or not he wants to end up buying this one or not. But Widow Jane. So again, today we're gonna sample the 12-year. They also make a 10-year. They make a rye, as well as starting to kind of change it a little bit. Also, they make a whiskey where they have it's American oak, obviously, of course, from the barreling standpoint, but they actually use almost like an applewood stave that they put in the middle of the barrel, so it kind of enhances the flavor. And again, that's a whiskey, not a true actual bourbon itself. But for the bourbons, they actually, for the 10 and 12 year, it's actually a sourced bourbon out of Kentucky, so it's sourced. And what they do is they bring it to New York, to Rosendale, New York. And in Rosendale, New York, they have a very unique process where when they cut it, so this one here is 100 proof. When they cut it, they actually use a mineral water, which is very local to Rosendale, New York, which is where they're at. So it's a mineral water. Obviously, behind mineral water, it's a little bit more sweet by nature. So it definitely does enhance the flavor profile of a traditional bourbon. So it's cool, kind of cool thing with Widow Jane. And again, that's just for the bourbons, the 10 and 12 year. Eventually, their goal is to distill all of their products, but for right now, they're outsourcing their 10 and 12 year bourbon. So that's kind of a cool thing a little bit about Widow Jane, right? Something, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. In this case, the proof is in the water. We'll see if it changes the taste profile or not. So from a price standpoint, I bought this for about $95. The 10 year, you could find it for about $70 to $75. And if you do end up liking Widow Jane, it is a little bit challenging to find. So, definitely, again, as my recommendation to you, always ask your local liquor store owners, or, that you frequent, obviously, quite often, to say, "Hey, can you please purchase this for me?" Because it is sometimes a little bit harder to find. So let's go ahead and get into the nose a little bit. All right, so the mineral water, from the smell profile, from the nose, definitely, wow, very sweet. Smell some plums, blackberries, some raisins, a bit of oak, right, from the barrel, the aging process. Okay, very sweet just from the nose. Let's go ahead and get into the tasting, right? It's the best part about bourbon. Gotta enjoy this heat somehow. I enjoy it with bourbon. Okay. So I will say, everything transfers through, which is unique. That doesn't always happen. What I mean by that is, from the nose to the palate, to the taste, everything transfers. I taste the plum, I taste the blackberries. Just want to take something else. Check one last thing. Okay. Wow, and the raisins. Okay. So you taste all three of those. The plum, the raisins, the blackberry. Very smooth going down. A little bit of spice, not too much, right? It is 99 proof, so it got a little bit of a spice there. But overall, very smooth, very sweet, but not overly sweet. Definitely changes the profile from a traditional bourbon, completely different than like a wheat or even a high rye bourbon. That mineral water absolutely changes the complexity of the taste as a whole, as well as the nose. So we end every show with, we know what, right? Bourbon Judge. Is this a bourbon that I buy? Is it a bourbon that I leave on the shelf? So Brian, I'm going to answer your question for you. The verdict is in. This is an absolute buy. The reason why, number one, bourbon as a whole, in many kinds and forms, can be very similar to one another. This is in a league of its own. It's a completely unique product. It really is. And the reason I say that is because of the whole mineral water, right? It does change and enhance the flavor profile from the nose all the way down through the palate, through the tasting process. Very unique. Definitely stands alone. If you're in the mood for, on a particular night, for a sweeter bourbon, I absolutely highly recommend this one. Very nice, good quality as a whole, and I absolutely do think it's worth $100 or $95. Again, make sure you reach out to your liquor store owners because it is a little bit challenging and hard to find, but definitely one that's worth hunting for. On a final note, folks, thank you for watching the video. Please make sure you subscribe. And hey, I want to hear from you in the comment section. Let me know what's bourbon that's out there that you want me to try and sample before you go out and buy it. I'll buy it for you, and we'll taste it right here. Until then, talk to you soon, folks. See ya.